we was seeing far to the left a bit of a range.
Would you
That
say,
bit of a range. We were seeing a range on the far left there.
is that there that you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you
Broke out
agree
of
with
the
that, Jack?
range.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So then we
Then you
come
broke out
down,
of it.
tagged this area, printed a wick, and then retraced with a green candle, and then printed quite a large wick, favourable to the downside, and then we can see that this candle also printed a wick favourable to the upside, and then we filled that wick with the next candle, and then we've continued to push to the downside, and then is that a retrace? Low 3-2. It's not a retrace, and then we can see that we started to see slow down. So we've got this triple wick here, followed by shifting momentum to the upside, and then it confirmed that once we saw this, we definitely shifted in momentum to the upside, in which case we're expecting a change in trend, range or reversal, and then we came up, broke the high, retrace, broke the high, retrace, broke the low, retrace, and now we're just getting that sideways consolidation, price action, that range bound. So yeah, I'd agree. We were ranging, saw an impulse to the downside, shifting momentum to the upside, and then started to range on the 1 hour. So now, what would we need to see in order to start taking interest for a trade?
Leg momentum out of the range.
Yeah, leg of momentum out of the range, I agree with that. So we'd want to see, coming out of this area, strong leg of momentum to the upside or downside, followed by a pullback with no shift, strong break of the high, pull back and go. And we're looking for that either to the upside or to the downside, like so. So we'll see what we get. So yeah, I'd agree. Just looking for a strong leg of momentum to the upside or downside before I start looking for anything again. So we'll see what happens. And then we can see that we get a strong impulse to the upside. What are we thinking about this?
You can see it's news.
Looking good.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Well, yeah. Could start off a nice trend though.
Yeah, definitely could start off a nice trend. So, definitely news orientated. We can tell just by the inside, just by the size of the candle alone. But we can also see a little tag at the bottom here, telling us that it is a Fed press conference news candle. But yeah, just by the size of that candle, we can visually see that it's a news impacted candle. We know that news can either start a trend or it can fail and reverse, or it could kickstart a nice trend to the upside. So we'll just have to be patient and see what price action tells us, because we know we could either range, reverse, or continue. So it's just about waiting to see what price action tells us and not making any preemptive assumptions, but waiting for the facts. So we'll see what happens. And then we can see that we get a favourable wick. So at one point this was solid red all the way down here, and then we pulled all the way back and then closed above the high, showing us buying pressure, which is quite nice. Would you say now that we've cleared the area of interest? Cleared
Yeah,
the
definitely.
area, yeah. So now
Yeah.
we've cleared the area of concern, which would have to be, we were looking for it to come out of ranging, and we were looking for that strong leg of momentum as forecasted, and then we were just looking for that pullback and go set up to the upside. So it's starting to look like it's setting up, so now I'd be green lighting the pair, looking for potential setups and how they set up. Just be looking for that either flag setup or the continuation setup. So we'll just see what happens, and then we can see that we just barely break the high now, and then we get a pullback. Has this pullback shown us a shift in momentum to the downside?
Wouldn't say so.
No, not at all.
No.
Little favourable wick, if anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
definitely
little
would
small
agree with that.
favourable wick.
100%. So based off of that, would we be now looking for this setup?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like what we forecasted, so I don't see why not. See if we can get a strong break of the high.
Nice.
Nice. So that has closed solid. Absolutely no weakness in that candle whatsoever. So based off of everything we've discussed so far, what are we thinking?
Putting it on.
Yeah, set an order.
Yeah, I've set an order.
So we'd be happy to set an order for the continuation, which would take off of the previous most recent high, 1 pip above the entry price, with a 12 pip stop. Right, how's that looking now? Still interested in taking it?
Yep.
Even for a 1 candle
Yeah.
pullback?
Happy with one
Yeah.
candle. Happy with the one candle.
Yeah, that's
That'd be
brilliant.
nice.
Sound. Glad to hear it. So let's see what happens. Boom. And then this happens where it came down, didn't tap us in, and then closed green. So what are we doing now? Are we leaving? Oh, we're leaving the order on.
I'm still happy to leave it on. Yeah.
Still happy to leave it on. Okay. What about you, Hatton?
It's not much more, much different from the previous high, is it? But we've got a
Yeah.
favourable wick.
Favourable wick.
So
Yeah,
I'm still
for sure.
confident momentum's to the upside, but
Yeah, that's
we
understandable.
still could tag the line, yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying, Hatton?
I'm gonna ride it. I'm unsure, but I'll stick with Jack on this one
Okay.
and see if it taps us in.
Alright. Let's see what happens.
There's no reason to remove the trade, is there really?
We'll find. I guess we'll find out after.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
Okay.
We'll discuss it after. Yeah, we will speak about that. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I'll take it off now.
came down, nearly tagged us in. I think even if you had it 2 pips above for the 2 candle break, it would have still not tagged you. Yeah. Yeah, so I can see why you both left your order on. That's understandable. Fortunately, came very close but didn't tag. Very, very close. Didn't tag and then continued to the upside. So now what we would have to ask ourselves is, are we happy with the 1 candle pullback down to this entry price? And we can all agree that that would probably, well,
Yeah, that would
most
show a shift
definitely,
in momentum.
most definitely show us a shift in momentum to the downside if we got a 1 candle pullback to that area now. So pending order will be getting removed. Even if we've got favourable wicks, that ain't saving that pullback. So now we'd be looking for, well, right now we're looking for buyers because the market structure is bullish and it's looking very favourable to the upside. So we'll just be looking for either the flag setup or the pullback, break, pullback and go. setup, and we'll just be looking for both of those to go long right now because there's no reason why not to be looking for longs.
Oh, what time would that trade have been? We've been placing that order at.
That's a good question. So this was the 10 o'clock close. So our order would have been
Oh,
set at
okay.
11 p.m. And then
Okay.
the next,
I was worried
this
that
one would have
that
been
went
12
out.
a.m. Hey,
Yeah.
no, it's just out of Ahmed Towers. So now we're just looking for either a pullback and a break of the high, pull back and go, or the flag set up, so we'll see what happens. And then we break the high. So now are we do we stop looking for longs?
No.
No, still looking.
Yeah. So wick is a little bit of a concern, but price action is super nice. So we'll
Yeah.
just have to see what happens. And then we pull back and then we break the high. So now are we looking to go long based off of that pullback and break?
No, it's not a hard, strong break of the high at all, is it?
No, it's a very weak break of the high. Pierce the high with a wick.
Well, it's with the wick, really. Yeah, it's not even
Yeah.
broke the high,
And
really.
yeah, the wicks broke the high, but the body of the candle was
Yeah,
closed.
not
Just
closed.
just closed slightly below. Closed on 0.66235, so it's just closed 2 ticks below the high itself. So we've actually failed to close
Yeah.
above the most recent high. So based off of that, we're not looking to go long here. If it closed solid, maybe I'll take interest in that.
What if the next candle was to fill that
Yeah, if
wick
the
and
next
break the high solid close?
that's a good question. In that scenario, yeah, I'd be way more willing and happy to get involved on the pullback and go there. If we were to break and close solid, just because of the trend in price action would be
Yeah.
super favourable in that regard. See what happens. Yeah, the pullback is an inside bar, fails to break the high and the low of the candle and is inside the previous candle, making it an inside bar. Didn't fill the wick and break the high with a solid close, unfortunately, so it hasn't given us a long opportunity. So now we are seeing weakness to the upside in the sense that we've just broke,
Slow down.
retrace, broke and retrace. Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. Slow down to the upside. So we'll see what happens next. And then we pull back and then we break the high again with a wick. So now, are we looking to go long based off of that break of the high?
No.
Not right now.
No, definitely.
We just getting wicks.
Yeah, definitely. So,
You can see the momentum dropping off. It's like starting to curl out.
oh yeah, 100%. You can see with this
Okay.
break, retrace, break, retrace, break, retrace. You can see that the momentum to the upside is just, like you say, teetering off, tiring. We're starting to see a mini ascending channel at the top of this momentum. So based off of that now, if we're seeing an exhaustion of momentum to the upside, would we be forecasting, say, if we were to break to the downside? No. Would we
You might
looking...
keep cutting out. You know. Can you hear that, Jack? Can you hear his mic cutting out?
Yeah.
Is that just me? Yeah.
Nah, I can hear it.
Is it?
Can you hear what you keep out every like
Oh,
now and
yours
again?
is starting it now.
Is it?
Might be a
Not
network.
it says what?
Was,
Yeah. It's alright now. Yeah, what are you saying? Are we looking for a bit more of a reversal? Because the
was good.
Oh no, Jack's going out.
fucking hell,
All taking it in turns.
I put a curse on us. That's huge.
And it was all going so smoothly.
I should have said nothing.
Right, anyway, so based off of the, so if I just draw on the movement of this price, move it on, draw it on, break, pullback, break, pullback, break, pullback. What we can see is, at the top of the impulse is we've started to ascend, in the sense that there's not a lot of selling pressure in this ascending channel, but we can see an exhaustion in momentum to the upside, where we can see that we've broken the high with a wick, pulled back, broken the high with a wick, pulled back, broken the high with a wick, closed solid red, pulled back. So we can definitely see that the upwards momentum here has started to die off here in this ascending channel. So that's what that's telling us. So
Yeah.
if the upwards momentum is exhausting, and we're starting to see an ascended nature, what does that tell us in price action?
Looking for a reversal.
Yeah,
Yeah, range of reversal, isn't it?
expecting a range of reversal, precisely. So we'll see how it goes, because if we say we broke the low now with solid close, would you be happy to start looking for a reversal setup?
Yeah.
Be looking for but it'd be looking for like one or two closes, solid close below that.
Yeah.
A second, isn't it?
So let's see what happens next. And then we get that solid break at the low with a solid close. So now, based off of that, would you be looking for a short off of this area, 1 pip below that area with a 12 pip? So would we be happy with a 1 candle pullback now to this entry price?
Nah, I wouldn't be happy.
No.
With a 1 candle?
With 1 candle pullback would be aggressive to the upside, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Especially with the prior price action.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no confirmation there, really.
Yeah, not much selling pressure in the ascending.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's in terms of the it's nice that we've had this clear momentum followed by a clear exhaustion of momentum followed by a very clear strong break of the low. But yeah, 1 candle pullback, I definitely just couldn't justify that. So we'll see what happens. And then we get this candle. So is that showing us a shift of momentum to the upside?
No.
I so.
No. So does that mean you'd now be happy to look for a 1 candle, look for a candle to this area?
No, I wouldn't
No.
be happy putting a trade on there, personally.
No. That's fair enough.
It's way too close to the top area of what
Yeah.
could be a range now,
Yeah,
potentially.
if it pulls back into that area.
Yeah, I need to
Nice.
see more confirmation. I need
Yeah,
more
if it
momentum.
pulls back into that area, you're expecting a potential rise. That's understandable. What if we saw a pullback with no shift and a solid break of the low coming from that
Yeah, if you
ascending?
break the low again confidently,
Yeah, looking
it's a
to get
different
involved in
story
short.
then. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
different story.
100% agree with that. So we'll see if we pull back. So now we've got our first pullback candle that hasn't broken the low. What do we
Favourable wick.
notice? Yeah, favourable wick. Definitely agree with that. So now, if we do get a solid break of the low, and we close below the low, then would we be taking interest in a pullback and a go?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I so.
yeah,
I'd be there.
no reason why not. Let's see what happens. Boom.
Mm.
And then we break the low, coming from that, coming from trending price action, followed by an exhaustion to the upside, followed by a nice break out of the low, followed by a pullback with no shift, and then a nice break of the low. I mean, it's looking pretty favourable.
Yeah, although it's not the strongest break of the low, I guess previous price actions all perfect, really, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, price action is what makes this
Yeah.
scenario so interesting and worthwhile, because the price action, like I say, we're coming from trending price action, followed by a clear exhaustion to the upside, followed by a clear sign of a reversal. And the reason why the reversal is so beautiful is because it usually catches the top or the bottom of a move,
Hello.
and you can
Oh,
usually
bro, it's
You,
fucking
you
might
take
just
you
went.
it,
cut out
bro.
for a while then.
Well, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you cut out for a good, like, 6-7 seconds then.
a while.
So no. Right, price action. So the reason why this is worthwhile, high probability for me, you may say that there's a little wick on the bottom of this candle, which is, understandable if that's a concern. But for me, the price action is what paints the picture for me in this regard, where we're coming from this clean ascending channel, trending price action, clean exhaustion, strong reversal, pull back with a super favourable wick, and then confirmation that we want to continue to the downside. So the beauty of the reversal is that it usually catches the top or the bottom of a move, but with price action actually telling us that it wants to move without trying to guess it. So in this regard, price action showing me trend to the upside, followed by it showing me that it wants to move to the downside. What are you laughing at?
This might just keeps cutting out, bro. I
Is
swear
it?
down.
Flips.
Yeah, it's bad.
It is
Like, I don't know
quite
why
bad,
it's doing
yeah.
it.
It is quite
I
bad.
get, do you know what it is though? I get what I know what you're saying though. That's
Yeah,
why
you
I'm
can
like,
get bits and pieces because we know what you're on about. It's fucking.
no, I know what I know what you're trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I can agree with that.
We
That's
see the
annoying,
nice
man.
impulse up, fucking trending price action. Then we see the momentum drain. It starts
Yeah,
to taper off, and then
yeah,
we see a nice clean break of the low,
yeah,
followed by like a pullback that doesn't show a shift. It's got a nice favourable wick. It's like an indecisive candle, isn't it? Shows a nice favourable wick to downside, then another solid
Semi
close.
semi-indecisive. I don't know about
Semi
indecisive.
indecisive. Well, it's like
It's favourable
yeah,
to the
semi
downside.
indecisive because it's favourable to downside, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
And then a nice solid close after
yeah,
that
yeah,
below the low.
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
that's like the confirmation. If the first break wasn't enough confirmation of the low, the pullback with no shift, then the second break is like the confirmation.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
base.
if weren't sorry to interrupt, if it weren't for
No, go.
previous price action, the break of the low of this most recent candle, it probably would put me off looking at this as a trade if it weren't such a clean previous price action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that 100%. And
Yeah.
that's. I
But
agree
yeah,
with
this is it is a quite a small break, isn't it? The low, to be fair, this most recent.
you. Yeah, yeah. If it weren't for the
Yeah,
price action, then. But because of the price action, just tells me
yeah.
it wants to go
It
down.
really it's wanting to it's wanting to shift.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you can see it, yeah.
what are you happy to put a short on there then?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on how close it is to the
What's this
low.
short? A short for? Is this? Would you call this a continuation? A short continuation short?
Yeah, it's a continuation short. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's coming
Yeah.
from a ascending channel,
Yeah.
so you can get a continuation from an ascending channel, which is like a reversal, but it's not the reversal entry. It's
Yeah.
the
It's not like
continuation
a
entry
straight
coming from a
reversal. Yeah.
reversal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So based off of how close the close is to the entry point, would we be looking at setting it on the line instead of a 1 pip below?
Yeah, I'm happy to leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy with
gives
that?
it that extra room.
Yeah, it gives it that extra room, so obviously. So, just gonna move that black line, see what happens. Sweet, so we can then see
Taps
that
us
the
in.
next candle comes up, taps us in, temporarily was in the red, and then closes just ever so slightly in the green, running at 0.15% profit, but we're not looking at running profit right now. Let's continue to manage the trade as we would if it were live. And then the next hour continues to the downside, and now we're running at about 1.5% profit. We're not looking at running profit just yet. We're waiting for that first pullback and break so we can lock in some prof. And then we can see the next candle continues to the downside. So now we can see that we've got that ascending, strong break of the low, pullback with no shift, strong break of the low, and now we're just continuing to the downside as forecasted. So let's see what happens. You can see we get a wick which shows weakness to the downside, so now expecting a pullback candle, and then we get that first pullback candle. So now we're running at around near 3%, but we're not running at 3% yet, and we've got nothing locked in just yet. But if we break the low now, what we can do is we can move our highs and our lows and lock in some profit. So let's see what happens. We also know that it is a complete possibility that we could come up and take us out for a full 1% from here, but if we break the low, we can lock in risk into profit to around 3 pips, 2.7, not 3 pips, sorry, 3%, 2.7%, 2.7R, 3R, whatever you want to call it. We're waiting for a break of the low. I think it's worth mentioning that if I weren't in this sell setup, and we if we had profit locked in and we didn't have a full 1% risk, I would potentially be looking for a downside play here for the
I was gonna
3
say, could that be what are they what they call when you put two trades on
scaling.
scaling? That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say, could
Yeah.
that be a scaling? But if you've not, if you haven't reduced risk, you won't want to be interested in scaling
Yeah.
because you'd be losing 2%, couldn't you? I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. Yeah, precisely. So unless I've reduced risk into profit, I don't want to take a scaling because it's unnecessary risk on my
If you
account.
if you was already in profit, if you already had locked in profit, so you wasn't,
Yeah.
there was no risk then.
Even if
To
this was break even,
yeah,
but
there was
because
just
we've still
no.
got a full 1% at risk at play right now, I'm not
You
interested.
don't want to then risk another 1%. Yeah.
No, not in this case. Whereas if I wasn't in this trade, say I missed this trade, and this was setting up, I would definitely be taking interest in this for a flag setup. Fortunately, it doesn't set up. We take out the flag high. We were about to set up a red candle, but the red candle breaks the low, which means we adjust our low, adjust our high, and that invalidates the flag
Hello.
entry. Hello?
Wait, also let's just lock in some price.
You hear me, Jack?
Oh, I just got that then. Think you're back.
So it invalidated the flag because we broke the low.
Yeah.
So now we've adjusted our highs and our lows so we can lock in profit to 2 pips. Yeah.
No, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Right, so we got 1.9% locked in. Nothing for us. Nothing for us to do until we pull back and we break the low, or we break the high and take us out. Are you interested? Anyone interested in pull back to this area?
Nah. Nah. Not really with two either.
Nah, nah, definitely agreed.
Not even with two.
So let's see. Let's continue to read cross section. See what happens. Continue to the downside.
Yeah, it was good. Really nice, yeah. Cool.
Very favourable now. Trending down. So now we're just waiting for that pullback and the break of the low so we can lock in some prof.
Not a mad thing.
She moving. Oh man, she moving.
He moving. Ooh,
Now we
pullback.
got the first pullback. It's got a very favourable wick to the downside, so based off of that I'm definitely expecting the low to more likely be broken next than the high. Which it does. And then that allows us to lock in prof 2 pips above the MRH. So now we've got 5.61% locked in a profit. See what happens next. And then we continue down, get the first pullback candle, just waiting for a break of the low. Or the high.
No. Tickled it.
Creeping.
It's creeping. Let me just double check that candle. L104, L103, so it's just ever so one tick above the high, and then that looks like it's broke it. Low 5099, so that's ever so slightly broken the low, but that is also 9 o'clock on a Friday, so if I was holding over the
9
weekend
PM on a fucking Friday.
This time if I was holding over the weekend, so what that would mean is because we've just broken the low after a pullback, is we could lock in our profit to this area, but it's 9 o'clock and the market's closing. So if I'm holding over the weekend, what I'd do on AUD USD is I'd leave a 30 pip gap between where my take profit is and where the current price is. So right now I can reduce my risk and lock in profit to plus 6.64%. Because the market's closing, I'm just going to increase that to an extra 30 pip gap.
Yeah, for spreads.
For spreads. So if we open over the weekend, I've got a bit of room to play. Whereas we know that over the weekend we could get a gap and close either, you know, way above my high or way below my low. So just to play it safe, we're just going to increase my stop loss plus 30 pips, give myself more room to play. I'm just going to knock off 30 from that, like so. So now I've just changed my stop loss to 4.14% locked in. So when we open over the weekend, if it opens here, I can just still manage my trade as normal, no matter where it opens. So we'll see what happens. What could also happen is, like for example, right now, I'm not holding over the weekend, but in March 2024 I did hold over the weekend. Right now I would close this trade where it is right now at plus 7.4%, but if I'm holding over the weekend, I'd leave a 30 pip gap for the market weekend from current price to where my takeout level point is, and then when the market opens, just continue to manage as normal. So we'll wait for market open on Monday 1 AM, and then we'll just manage as normal, which would literally just be I think this candle came down, broke the low, would have been the top of this candle, would have been your high, set it to pips above. So yeah, it just would have been, if you chose to hold over the weekend, you would have been taken out for plus 6.67, or if you closed it right before the weekend, then you would have taken 7.2%. Sweet. So
Nice.
that is the trade I wanted to cover. We can see that after that, just started to mess around. So we were taken out at the
Range.
bottom of the move. You can see after that, just started to range and get messy. So we were taken
Taking
out
out
the
the
best possible
best
Yeah,
opportunity.
perfect spot to be taken out.
Yeah, precisely. So yeah, I'm happy with this trade. Took this live. Definitely would take it again and again.
Nice.
I think it's a beautiful trade, and there's a lot to take away from it. Also had this trade which wasn't tagged in when it set up live, because we just couldn't come down to this area, unfortunately, and then we just took off without us. Which is completely fine. It happens. Sometimes it doesn't tap our level and it will go without us. It's all part of the game. I'd argue that it was more probable before this candle set up. If that candle didn't break the high and it was an inside bar and it became a 2 candle pullback, then it definitely would have been more high probability. Because it broke the high and continued with the uptrend and it was a smaller break of the high, then if we pulled back after that small break of the high, I would have been a bit more cautious than if we just pulled back after that break of the high. Solid one. So that was the point I wanted to make on that entry. But yeah, other than that, this is a super clean price action. Loads of good lessons to take away from it, loads of value to learn from it, so glad we could cover it. Thanks for attending
Yeah,
today's
that's good.
call.
Always
Thank you
around.
for the invite.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you guys for watching. Peace, love and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one.
Then there's a pin.